is the final. The Seahawks are off to their 4th Super Bowl appearance in franchise history.
Love this team, and I'm pretty numb. You know, I felt like we were going to be the team on that podium, and we weren't. And, you know, you give Seattle the credit.
With Courtney Cronin, Harry Douglas, and Freddie coming in for the guys and lady today on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and don't forget about us on ESPN2. So the Rams are going to make sure to do everything in their power that if it's going to be a last dance potentially next for Matthew Stafford, they're going to keep the other components in place, signing their head coach Sean McVay and general manager Les Snead the multi-year contract extensions. HC, you know this, playing 10 years in the National Football League. Opportunities are hard to come by, and the Rams have more than a couple opportunities with these two together. They won a Super Bowl, and they got close this year, getting to the NFC Championship game. How much of this being put in place could really let it be known that, hey, we're really going to be all in next year, because next year could be the final year for Matthew Stafford playing in the National Football League? Because that's what I'm thinking. That's going to be his last year next year.
I just think, number one, when it comes to Les Snead and also Sean McVay and them getting that extension, it tells you how great of a job they've been able to do being paired together since the moment they came over to Los Angeles, Freddie. And, you know, they had an opportunity in the Super Bowl versus the New England Patriots. They came up short. Jared Goff was the quarterback. They make a trade for Matthew Stafford. They come over. They win a Super Bowl. A lot of people predicted that they were going to be the team playing in the Super Bowl this year. I was one of those human beings, and they came up short, right? But you always want to capitalize on these moments because you don't know how much longer Matthew Stafford has. So next year, if Matthew Stafford decides that he's going to come back and play, yes, you throw in all the marbles, you roll the dice, you bet all your chips, and you push them in, and you say, we're going for the gusto. But that doesn't mean, in my opinion, that moving forward that the Los Angeles Rams will not be able to make another Super Bowl or win another one. And here's why, Freddie Coleman. Les Snead is a guy that I have a great relationship with. He was in Atlanta when Matt Ryan got drafted as one of the top scouts there, and we had an unbelievable 2008 class. What Les Snead and Sean McVay has showed everyone amongst the NFL is that they are great talent evaluators. They find diamonds in the rough, just like we see the San Francisco 49ers, just like we see the Kansas City Chiefs. And what do those teams have in common? They're always playing in conference championship games. They're always going to be in Super Bowls. And that consistency is another reason why they were able to get those extensions. So I do believe, even post Matthew Stafford, that they're going to have an opportunity to play in an NFC championship game, make a Super Bowl with the likes of probably winning another one because of how they evaluate talent and find diamonds in the rough.
This was the only outcome I expected when they announced that they were going to do their season-ending press conference. I'm like, all right, there's going to be some news here, and it's not going to be Stafford's retiring. He's 37 years old. He's still got time. The back injury that we all thought was going to be a huge issue during the preseason ended up being a non-story this year. So I think from a health perspective, which was the question about Matthew Stafford for this season, has gone away. I don't think he wants to leave with that taste in his mouth, knowing that the team that the Rams certainly feel they should have been in better position than all year long because of what happened in that game. I believe it was like week 14, week 15, when the crazy overtime game on a Thursday night, they felt that they should have won that game. They also probably felt that they would have had a better chance, in the NFC Championship game, had a couple things happen differently. So, of course, you keep your power structure in place to run that back. You've got Les Snead, who has done an incredible job building this roster in lockstep with Sean McVay. Now, the question's going to be, how much longer is Stafford going to play? Does he play one more year? Because remember, he signed the 2-year contract and it's got an option this year. I don't think that he ends up taking that option. They've always had these handshake agreements in Los Angeles where they come back and they reassess in the offseason. And it's a smart strategy, especially when you have a quarterback who's at this point of his career in trying to figure out, am I going to keep playing? Am I done? I don't think he's done. But all of that said, with what Harry brought up about how the talent evaluation, from a talent evaluation standpoint, how this whole thing goes, let's not forget they've got not only their own pick at 29, they've got the Atlanta Falcons pick at 11 this year. So when you guys are talking about building around Matthew Stafford going all in 2026, when the Super Bowl is going to be played in Los Angeles again, they've got the ammunition to do that, in addition to how active we know this team can always be in free agency.
They're going to load up on defense because they saw what we all saw. in the playoffs, even though they had that run. Their secondary was getting strafed. It didn't matter if it was Caleb Williams down the stretch with Chicago, Bryce Young in that first match by the Carolina Panthers, and definitely what we saw Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba do in the NFC Championship game. If this can be a potential last dance situation, HD and Courtney, now you're going to make sure that Matthew Stafford doesn't have to outscore people. Not saying that they can't. They led the NFL in scoring last year. 518 points they scored in the regular season. So, even with whatever his back, we all need weak backs like that, like Matthew Stafford. If anybody has a weak back like that, you're going to be the strongest person on planet Earth, the way he was able to play, and more than likely be the MVP. But Les Snead and Sean McVay did not get to where they are by saying, we're just going to settle, or, we can just run this back and think the same thing's going to happen again. They've been through way too many battles in their own division to assume anything, no matter what kind of MVP level their quarterback played at when it comes to Matthew Stafford.
Freddie, I would also add, because I know Sean McVay does a great job of self-scouting and Les Snead does the same thing, you got to get special teams right.
Yeah.
When I look at the 49ers game, well, you miss an extra point, you miss a field goal early on, it costs you a ball game. You look at the Seattle game and the Thursday night football where Shaheed runs a punt return back and really sparks them and sparks that comeback. Or if you look at in the NFC Championship game, you have a returner muffs a punt and it leads to a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks. You get a punt block versus the Carolina Panthers. All three phases must be in unison. And I thought special teams was really the dark cloud of this football team in 2025, and it costed them in the NFC Championship game as well. So as they self-scout 2025 and move into 2026, they must be better on special teams because, as we know, it's called special teams for a reason. Either you can be special at doing them, or you can be specially hurt when you don't do them the right way. And they hurt the Los Angeles Rams last season.
Because the Bears will be better, in my opinion. The Packers will be better, in my opinion. The Lions will be better, in my opinion. The NFC West, the best division in football. The Cardinals did it right by the kind of coach that they got. Mike LaFleur used to be part of the Rams staff as the offensive coordinator. You can't stand still in the NFC. That keeps getting better and better each and every year. Great stuff from Courtney Cronin here on the socials at Courtney R. Cronin and Harry Douglas here on the socials. H. Douglas 83. I'm Freddie Coleman. Win for the guys and lady they known as Unsportsmanlike, who is going on the road as the show will be live from San Francisco beginning tomorrow for coverage of the big game Super Bowl 60 involving the Seahawks and the Patriots, brought to you by SoFi, which is the home of the Los Angeles Rams. So when the Thursday NBA trading deadline happens, more than likely Giannis Antetokounmpo is not going to go to the New York Knicks. But James Harden could be going to the Cleveland Cavaliers? That's next on Sportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and don't forget about us in ESPN2.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. Coming up on Tuesday's show, we preview Super Bowl 60 with Hall of Famer Troy Aikman and a three-time Super Bowl champ on his own, Mark Schlereth, plus Tom Pelissero with the latest and Overreaction Monday on a Tuesday. That's the Rich Eisen Show on Disney+, the ESPN app, and ESPN Radio.